Lucy, wherever you are enjoying your vacation, thank you very much. We're gonna get started. We're gonna rotate through. There's 6 questions. There were 36 questions submitted. Thank you very much for those of you who took the time to submit. One person did write a very lengthy set of questions that I'm gonna keep and use when the new board is seated as a I don't know, a template or a framework for that new board to look at, because unfortunately, if I used any of those questions, then only one person's questions would have been heard tonight, and we can't do that either, okay? So there are 6 questions, we're gonna rotate through. You guys wanna start for a minute and introduce yourselves, and then we'll get started?
You ought to do our opening statements now. Do you want me to go first?
Please. Ladies first.
I'm Bonnie Fielder, and I'm honored to be running for a position on the Oyster Harbor HOA Board. As a resident and retiree, I have a deep appreciation for what makes our community so special. Its peaceful atmosphere, beautiful natural surroundings, and the strong sense of camaraderie we share. Oyster Harbor is more than a neighborhood. It's a place I truly am proud to call home. Before moving here, I served on the HOA board of another community. That experience taught me the importance of respecting and upholding our governing documents while making decisions that reflect the collective will of all residents and lot owners. If elected, I will work to ensure that decisions are made transparently and collaboratively with ample opportunities for community input. We benefit from the efforts of our professional management company, CAM, which plays an active role in maintaining our neighborhood's appearance and standards. Currently, a regular inspection is being performed by our post-compliance committee, which I feel has created some division between neighbors. I feel CAM is a third party and should be responsible for this, as it takes pitting neighbors against neighbor aspect out of the equation. Instead, the post-compliance committee should be focused on post-build projects that the residents need to do further improve their property. By fostering better communication and alignment with our ARC, we can ensure both communities are working toward shared goals with a unified approach. I also want to encourage greater volunteerism by making our committees more approachable, inclusive, and transparent, so more residents feel empowered to get involved. As we continue to grow, it's time to look ahead and invest in the amenities that will serve our expanding population. Our budget is important. We need to consider how much money it's going to take to expand our clubhouse, pool, pickleball, tennis courts, boat ramp, and so there's the court over there.
The bocce court?
Bocce court. I didn't put that in here, but wanted to. We have some very talented and smart neighbors that we rely on to look into our future expenses. Let's understand this together. Lastly, I believe it's essential to protect and preserve our shared resources. These areas add beauty and value to our neighborhood and should be respected and maintained for the enjoyment of the entire community. The access issue our current board has worked so hard to improve has been a great help, and I believe we'll see improvement in the next coming weeks as they implement the booting and towing process of the unauthorized vehicles. Please be sure to have your stickers on all your vehicles and guest pass displayed in the front windshield of your visiting friends and family's vehicle. I'm ready and eager to dedicate my time and energy to serving Oyster Harbor. If elected, I promise to be a board member who listens, collaborates, and always works in the best interest of our entire community. Thank you for your time, your trust, and your consideration. I would be honored to serve you over the next 3 years.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. I'm just gonna say I agree.
Yeah, I agree. My name is Vince Bracken. I've been here for about 10 years now. I've been a board member, president. I was president during COVID, during the boat ramp rebuild, which both were very stressful times. But I just want to say a few words. The following is criteria to be a board member. Must be honest. Strong fiduciary duty to the community. Communicate. Support our committees. They take the lead. Continue to fund a strong reserve. Plan for the future. Open meetings. Be prepared to answer any and all questions at the meetings. Unfortunately, in the last couple of years, few of the board members have lost their way on how the HOA is supposed to operate. This is a business. It should operate as a business. What happens often in an HOA board, you have micromanaging, which leads to failure. You have personal agendas, which lead to failure. We need to get back to having our committees take the lead. From what I'm hearing, we only really have our committees are dwindling down to 1 to 2 volunteers. I don't understand why. Well, we can fix that. It was never like that in the past. For an example, 4 years ago, S&G wanted to rebuild a water park deck. The board and the management says, okay, we agree, let's do it. So what we did, we set up an account with Guy C. Lee, GFI, our disposal company. S&G went to work. What they did was build a beautiful deck, saved us thousands of dollars. We can do that again. We just need to get our committees back online and have them take the lead. I have no personal agendas. Do not micromanage. We are here to make the community better. And I tell you what, you have 3 really good people up here that I think will take the Oyster Harbor into the future, and it will be better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Mike George. I'll tell you, I've lived here for about 8 years. Most of the time I've lived here, I've been on a committee. I started on the Access Control Committee. From there, I went to the Modification Committee, and I'm currently the chair of the ARC. So I'm thinking I'm a glutton for punishment. So I'm running for the board, and the reason I'm running for the board is over the last 2 years, I've been dissatisfied with a lot of different things that I've seen. And I thought it was just me, and it might only be just me, but talking to other people in the neighborhood, I've heard the same type of things. And when I look at it, I say, well, you know, there was words like transparency used. I'm not going to use transparency because apparently there's a different meaning in everybody's mind what it means. But I'm going to stick with one word, honesty. I will tell you as a board member, I'm going to tell you how I voted. And I'll tell you why I voted that way. You may disagree with me. That's fine. That's what makes America great, is to have people have their own opinions. But that's how I think it should be running. I think we should communicate, that both Bonnie and Vince said that communication is a key. When he's talking about that building the deck, I was on that project, building the deck, with 10 other members. We don't have close to 10 members on Structures and Grounds, I don't believe, do we, John? 1, 2. So it's things like that that I'd like to see change and go back. I look at this and I say, I'm here because I want to be here. I'm here because I think we need to change. And I will do whatever I can to make it possible to bring back communication, bring back strong committees. And you're going to get honesty. You might not like what I say. I'm not stupid. I know I'm not going to make everybody in the community happy. That's not anything that's hitting my head. But I'd like to see, even like surveys. I'm not a fan of our surveys. I actually think they're inadequate. I mean, if you were to put together a survey, do you want security in the community? Yes or no? That's not a good survey. Do you want security in the community? Cost this much. This is how much money we're going to have to pay. Versus, do you want to build a clubhouse, expand the clubhouse? There's things that I think have been left out. So that's where I'm going to be coming from, is I sit up here, if I'm running and I happen to win, you'll ask me a question. I won't do what Chad does, wherever he is. I don't want people knocking on my door at 10 at night and stuff. But other than that, I think we need to communicate a lot better. I don't think it was done correctly. There's been gaps, and I think the gaps in communication are what caused committee members to bail. That's it.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna start with question number 1. Vince is gonna go, it'll be Vince, Bonnie, Mike for this first question, okay? How will you handle inquiries from neighbors or friends regarding confidential association matters such as homeowner violations, delinquencies, or hearings if you are elected to the board?
Well, we do not discuss, if it's a confidential matter, we do not discuss it beyond the board with other people. Is that your question?
That's what it says.
Yeah, it stays within the board if it's a,
So the question is, how are you gonna handle the inquiries? So if Chad comes up and says, so I hear,
No,
okay.
yeah, nice. Hey, Chad, how's it going?
Poor Chad.
Got something else to ask me? That's what I know. It's that confidentiality, when it comes to violations, it stays within the board. But once again, this is a small community. Rumors are rampant every day. And there's not much we can do about that. But as a board member, no, you keep it within.
Same.
Oh, I will. I agree with both of them, obviously, but I would add that as a manager and having done internal affair investigations of the police officer, when people ask you what's going on, the answer is, I can't tell you. You don't lie to them and say, give them a half story. You tell them, I can't tell you. If you want to know what's going on, you can ask that person. But personally, that's a confidential matter and it can't be discussed. I think you do politely with an understanding that, would you want me telling people your business? And that's basically how you'd have to handle it.
All right, question number 2, Bonnie Mike Vince. If elected, how would you ensure all financial decisions, including compensation changes or vendor contracts, are accurately reflected in the proposed budget and disclosed to residents?
I'm gonna read that again.
If elected, how would you ensure all financial decisions, including compensation changes or vendor contracts, are accurately reflected in the proposed budget and disclosed to residents?
Well, I think that in getting bids for different projects that we have, we're gonna have to get more bids than just the one. And we would make sure that everyone is involved. I think that the board will make the decisions, but I think they also need to see what the total number was on each one of the bids and tell everybody what the reason why we just decided to go with that one.
What?
Well, I'm not a finance guy, just so you understand this. Ask my wife, because I can't tell you much money I have in the bank. But I will tell you, on any of those decisions, obviously it has to be a board decision, not an individual decision. That's the first thing. I have been in meetings where I've asked and I've been denied how many lots are in the rears, and I've been told, well, we can't tell you that. That's not true. You can't tell me who's in the rear. You can't tell me what lot number's in the rear, but you can say there's 10 lots. And I think as a community, it's our money. That type of thing should be disclosed, that type of information. I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to say, well, John Iden hadn't paid for the last 5 years and he's getting ready to go big on this. But in the same sense, those are type of things that need to be discussed, and I think openly. As far as disclosing, I think we should disclose everything that I actually believe I know you can't disclose bids per se, but after we can say, this is the bid and this is what we're paying and this is going out. I also think we need to actually confer with our attorney more on some of our larger contracts. Just to make sure that we're doing everything correctly.
Yeah, on larger contracts, you should have at least 3 bids. Without a doubt. I would also say, I would recommend giving as much information out as we possibly can. Contracts tend not to be reviewed by residents, but bills, you want to look at a bill, attorney bill, whatever bills there, you're allowed to see that. We've done this in the past. We've had residents ask the board, hey, I want to see that bill. Sure, no problem. We'll show it to you. Come in on a Tuesday, whenever the management company is here, you can look at it. But yeah, I have no problem divulging as much information as possible so you don't have rumors going throughout the community.
Thank you. Okay, this one's an easy one.
Oh, it's me first, right?
Okay, it is. What role do you believe North Carolina General Statutes 47F and 55 play in guiding the actions of an HOA board, and how prepared are you to apply them?
I actually believe they're the ones we should be following is 47. And both of them, one is for corporations, the other one's for the homeowners from the state. we need to follow them. I mean, that's the law. I'm pretty much a law guy, by design, and, you need to follow those rules. I think we can't manipulate them, and I'll be the first to tell you, I'll bring up the CCRs. I find them archaic. I really do. We can't change them because of the law. You need 67% of the people to change them. When that happens, and we're getting close, I can tell you from the ARC standard, we got probably 220 houses in here. We're getting there. They should be changed. I truly believe that they could be a lot better, but we still got to follow what the laws say. I've learned a lot just being on the ARC, like finding people, having to have an appeal. Before, I didn't know that, but that's the thing. It's how it works. That's what we got to do. So I think on any type of law that's enacted, we should be the ones that stand up it. That's it.
Vince,
What is it, 47?
47
F.
F.
Boring, completely boring.
Yeah, it is.
But yes, it is the law of the land. We do have to follow it for an HOA. Do I know every single word in it? Do I understand half of it? I understand our CCNRs. That's our guidelines. But Michael is right. They're archaic. They need to be redone. And I think we're getting close to where we can move forward, but it's something we should initiate. And I've said this a couple of years ago. We should have initiated a couple of years ago just to get the ball rolling and get it started. But it's something we need to take a look at. But yeah, we do need to follow state laws and so on, LLCs, corporations, yes.
Wow.
Well, I know there's a 47F, but I'm not familiar with what says on there. But I will promise to get acquainted with those standards. And if we need to change things, I think we should change things. There are some things on our CCNRs and documents that I feel like we need to change, but not without voting.
Thank you. Vince, we're back and start back.
All right.
I'm gonna tell everybody right now, this was 20% of the questions that came in. Given the strong community interest in expanding fishing across Osprey, Eagle, and Heron ponds, where do you stand on allowing full perimeter fishing?
Thanks a lot. Hit me in the head with that.
20% of the questions.
20% of the questions were that. Well, okay. Let's go back. I was in favor of fishing when the boat first came out. After a few months of it going forward, our issues started to happen, started to really snowball. So we have no boat. We shut fishing down. It's 5-0 on the board. Then we didn't do anything with fishing, we just shut it down. This board has done a good job with the fishing. You have areas that you can fish in. I know we still have issues throughout the community, but what we need to remember is I think the community was designed as having walking trails. That's how it was published years ago. All those areas around the ponds were community access, so on. But you have a lot of lots in here that Michael and I were talking about this last week. The property line goes into the water on some of these ponds, or into one or two of the lakes we have, or I'm sorry, Russell Hewitt Lake. They go into the water. So you really don't have access all the way around. If you look online, you look at your USGPA or whatever, or GPS, it'll show you the property lines. So it is very difficult. I think what we have now is a good balance of fishing, and some of the ponds, we can argue back and forth with a curled hook or ground hook or whatever hook, but we have liners in our ponds, which are 20 plus years old. We've had issues in the past with our liners. It's better now with what they have done. And I think it's something we need to leave in place and move on.
Okay, so the fishing, I think we all have grandkids and enjoy the fishing. We have some neighbors that have small children that love the fishing. And I'm okay with the way the current policy is, but I'm gonna disagree with what you said about people's lots go into the water. That's just not true. The water in North Carolina, if you own a water property, it only goes up to the highest point of where the water comes. And that's it. Your lot ends there. There's an easement around it. And Oyster Harbor needs to be maintaining that easement around each pond. I understand that some of that is not happening. But we need to work through that with our landscape company to get those places cleared up. But
Where do you stand on fishing?
what am I saying on fishing?
That's the question. The question is, where do you stand on allowing full perimeter?
I believe that all the fishing should take place. I think they should be able to fish around the ponds. I know that there are a lot of homeowners that live on the ponds that don't want children in their backyards, but I don't understand why they can't fish around the ponds. I like the kids out there fishing.
Mike?
Okay, here's where I say what I think, and you can disagree or hate me or like me, one or the other. On the fishing, the policy that stands now, I'm not a fisherman, so I can't tell you I've heard about the round hooks that won't grab the liner and stuff. The problem you have with that is how do you know who's using a round hook? We have rules, we've had people violate the fishing rules. There's a time, it can only fish to 7. We have people out there at 9. That's an issue, but we don't punish the community for the limit of few. A law enforcement standard is 10% of the community commits 100% of the crime. So you don't punish everybody for doing, if one guy's fishing, it does, oh, we're gonna ban fishing because this guy can't follow the rules. Ban him. That's my first part of it. Second part is if you live on a lake and it's a lake that's been approved for fishing, you should be allowed to fish in your own backyard. I'm sorry. Now, I know other people say, well, everyone can come and fish. And I can tell you, run a survey right now and say, how many people in this room want 10 people standing in their backyard, whether they're fishing or not? I'm going to tell you what the answer would be. The majority would say, I don't want that. So for people that live on the lake, they paid extra money for that lot to have a water view. I know I did. And I'm sure most people did. But I have people fishing in my thing. Now, the riparian rights that Bonnie was talking about, you actually own the land under the water. They can float on the water up to your shore, but if your property line goes into the water, they can't walk on that if you don't want them to. And also, there's a trespassing issue to get to the water. You have to look at the case law. You just can't read the law of what has happened in the past. I'm not against the fishing. I think to have spots that we could have where kids could fish. I mean, there's a few now, I know up the pier at the back gate, and there's a spot over there on Redfish. I think that's great. Could there be more? Maybe we should look, but I don't think you should be allowing people to just hang out in other people's backyards and fish. That might be basically those easements were basically utility easements. They weren't for you to stand back there and fish. But I still think we have lakes. I have guys in john boats in my backyard fishing. I can tell you that right now. And I'm kind of interested. They're pulling out fish every 3 seconds. They throw a rod and boom, pull out a fish. But I'm not against that. I don't care that they're back there. They're not in my yard per se. You know, they're on the water in a boat. And they came up in my yard. I've had the kids fish in my yard. They've asked, Mr. George, can I fish in your yard? Yeah, just don't leave a mess and don't go in the lake because there's an alligator in there. At least one. So as far as fishing goes, I think the way the policy is set, I think they should expand it for the lakes that they allow fishing on. The people that live there should be allowed to fish in their yard. They should be allowed to invite people to fish in their yard if they so desire. Sorry if I offended anybody.
I just couldn't let it go. It was the most requested subject, so, all right. We're gonna go with Bonnie, Mike, Vince this time. All right, this past year, the community has had trouble getting and keeping community volunteers and chair people. How do you plan to encourage people to volunteer again?
Well, I think that maybe we should have a meeting of all the committee chairs or people that are and then everybody come in. And if they can they can talk to each one of them. What do you do? Are you interested in joining our committee? And maybe just get something like a job fair or something like that together.
Well, I'd say the first thing is communicate. I think a lot of the committees, the people that have been on committees that have abandoned them have felt disrespected. I send in a request, I don't get a response. I send in another request, I don't get a response. Why am I here? Is what happens when you do that. First thing is to communicate. As Vince said earlier, the chairs run those committees. The board does not run them. The board's job, my belief on the board's job is we work for the community. The community doesn't work for us. We're here to help them, and that's the same way it should be for a committee. We're here, you tell me what you need, and if we have the money to do it, and it's a good idea, we're gonna go with it. That should be, I mean, that makes it very simple. I think you'd have a lot more people responding. The other thing I brought up, and I haven't talked to the social committee, but maybe when we have our committees, they have a party, a barbecue for committee members. All the committee members get together, just to show some appreciation for what they're doing.
That's a good idea.
So that's what my thoughts on it.
Vince?
I said in my opening statement, committees take the lead. You have many people in the community who want to volunteer and do something. They have plenty of time. We're here to help you guys. Our responsibility is to get you up and running, have you take the lead, as I said. And it worked in the past. We can do it again. And we got Tom Jenks, he painted the entire wall out there by himself. Or I think he had maybe but hey, we can do this again. And there's plenty of things out there that guys want to do. Back deck, there's a long list. And what you do is you bring your committee members in Saturday afternoon. You guys sit down and we talk with the board. Okay, what do you want to do? Let's get a list together. And this goes all in strategic planning and it goes into our reserve. So yeah, we need to communicate more, get you guys out there, get you what you need, and go to town and make the community better.
Quick, last question. Mike, you're going first. How do you define ethical leadership in a community like ours, and what responsibilities do you believe board members have in holding it up?
Well, I said it originally, honesty would be the first thing. I come from a profession where if I lied, I got fired. And that was it. You had no excuse, you're gone. And I'm a firm believer in that. You don't have to lie to me. I might not like you saying, you might not like what I'm saying, but I'm not going to lie to you. I think that's transparency equals integrity, basically. If you're transparent, you're showing your integrity, you're letting people know what you're thinking, that's fine. But the other part of that is when people talk to you, you can't just say, well, make something up, tell them the truth. And it might be, I can't tell you. And that's what they'd have to live with. I just think that if you have honesty, integrity, and I hate using transparency because it was so abused, but and transparency to show that you're running something, I think you get respect. And I'm a big believer in respect is earned, it's never given. So that's how I would think you should run. Another thing is that I used to teach this is the golden rule. And I think as a board member, we should enforce it, is to treat everybody how you would want to be treated in a similar circumstance. I think if you live by that, you have a lot easier life. That's it.
Ethics. That's a tough, it's a good subject. I mean, as I said, I've been on the board for a long time. Sitting behind this table as a board member is tough. It is tough. We get emails, we get phone calls, we get texts. To control your emotions is really, really tough. But I'm here for the community. I'm not here for myself. I want to make everything better. I want to make sure we go in the right direction. And do I have a temper? Well, I'm Irish. What are you kidding me? Yeah, got a temper. But harnessing that and trying to keep it, and I'm getting better as I'm getting older. That's a good thing, right? So That's a
That
good
should be
thing.
really good.
Huh?
That should be really good.
Yeah, so-
Look better when you're old.
Yeah, ethics, without a doubt. It's hard to control, but it's a growing community. And as I said, I know I'm getting better as you get older. I just start laughing a little bit more now. I don't take it so serious. And why? Because I've up here for a number of years. So,
Fine, that's one.
Well, I'm going to tell you, as a Realtor, we have to go through an ethics training every other year when we were there. And it's something you have to really think about sometimes. But it gets better when you're on a board and we have these closed meetings. I think we should have minutes that are posted instead of every time we turn around, something else is coming through that we don't even know that is happening. So I think that the minutes in these meetings are going to help with that. And just be honest about what's going on behind the scenes, updates on projects.
All right.
Yeah.
That's the question.
good
All
job.
right.
All right.
Well,
Your packets should be arriving shortly. Please make sure you get your votes in.
I would like to say just one more thing, if we could. As I said in the beginning, you have three good people up here. And I think the future Voice of the Harbor is in a good direction. So whatever your choice may be, it's going to work out just great. So thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
That's